All right, guys, welcome back to another video talking about getting your career started in tech and how to get started in tech, how to get started specifically in cybersecurity and information security. As we know, it's a growing field, it's growing strongly year by year. It's a high demand field. Recruiters are constantly looking for people. There's not enough people on the market, right, in order to fulfill the jobs here in America, much less, all across the world, right? It's just an amazing time to be in cybersecurity. But how do you get started? How do you rank your career? How do you rank your profiles on the internet, your resumes, your portfolios, get more jobs, more contracts, all of that stuff, starting a business in tech, getting government contracts. These are some of the various things that we cover on this YouTube channel, right? So today we're going to be looking into just getting started. How do you get started? Where do you start? What job role do you start in? What position you start in? And I always get these questions. People always come to me, Marwin, how do I start off? What certification should I take? What department should I work in, right? So we're going to break this down a little bit, and hopefully I can give you some clarity at the end of this video, right? So let's take a look at what I have here, just some bullet points on just getting started, right? And just let me know if this makes sense. So a couple of things is, what's your why? Like, why do you want to get into cybersecurity? And this is important because this could at times be a high stress job, right? It could be complicated, super technical. You have to have a strong why behind anything that you do in life, right? And I get this a lot in interviews, right? There's several times where in an interview I was asked, why cybersecurity, right? Now, what is my why? I'm going to tell you my why. So I got into cybersecurity. I didn't even know that this department actually existed in IT. I'm going to tell you how my journey started very briefly, right? I was always good at IT or good with computers since I was like 9-10 years old, or even younger, because my brothers had a computer system. I was introduced to it at a young age, and by the time I was like in my teens, early teens, I was like making computers from scratch, right? I was helping my brothers to make computers, change out hard drives, RAM, troubleshooting, doing advanced desktop support with computers at the age of 13, 14, and I had no idea that what I was doing was a skill set that I could get paid for 6 figures a year. I didn't know that. It was just fun to me. So fast forward years down, later on in my life, in my mid-20s, I decided that, I should go to school and study IT, right? I had no idea how big IT was. People always say, oh, you're in IT. Bro, IT is so large. There's so many different parts of IT. You have to understand the different categories and different areas of IT. So if you're getting into tech, it's easy to say, well, I'm in tech or I'm in IT, but you have to be very specific. Where in this IT landscape do you want to fall? Where in this tech landscape? Are you a developer, right? Or you're a developer? And if you talk about being a developer, it even goes deeper than that, right? What do you develop? Are you a front-end developer? Are you a back-end developer? Are you a web developer? Or are you a systems engineer developer? Man, it goes deep. It gets so deep, right? So you have to have a clear understanding of where you want to be. But first, what's your why, right? Why do you want to do this, right? Oh, I love technology. Oh, let's talk about cyber specifically. Me, I love helping people. I always wanted to be a police officer. I always wanted to be like a soldier. I always wanted to help people who needed help. So I always liked the idea of being the good guy and the hero, trying to save, trying to stop bad guys from stealing money and stop them and ruin their plans, right? Like, I always wanted to be that guy. So because of that, I fell in love with cybersecurity because I like to secure and protect the innocents. And I fell in love with that because I always like to fight the bad guys, right? That's my why. So fast forward, finding your why. Now that you understand your why, understanding the various categories of IT, right? Knowing that, so we talked about that, right? We're looking at that, we're talking about that on screen here. Whether it's a technical or non-technical field that you want to be in, right? Do you want to be in a technical field where you're analyzing codes and analyzing data all day, every day? Is that what you want to do, right? Because there are fields for that. If you can sit down and analyze data all day, and look at codes and scripts and stuff like that, there's a lot of that in the tech world, right? Or do you want a non-technical field? I want to work in cybersecurity, I want to work in tech, but I don't want it to be too technical, right? So you have support roles, right? So now you probably are a IT project manager, automations manager, automations consultant, IT consultant. It's still a little technical, but it's not that much technical. It's more administrative, right? Business analyst, or you're an IT business analyst, for the development team, for the automation team, stuff like that. Are you managing like data loss prevention, right? Are you in governance, right? Playing a role in governance and data protection, right? So there's so many technical fields, and there's a lot of non-technical fields, right? So you have to understand the different fields in IT, right? And I'm going to put together a PDF that lists a lot of technical fields and a lot of non-technical fields in the tech cybersecurity space, so you have an understanding of what these fields are, and you can do your research on them. Even just going to Google, see like non-technical fields in cyber, technical fields in cyber, and get an understanding of what they are. So what do you want to do? You find your why, and then you say, all right, that's my why. I want to get into tech. All right, cool. I want to get into cyber. Non-technical or technical field? Well, okay, I want a technical role. Cool. Here's the layout for the technical roles. Here are all the technical roles, because everything that you decide, right? You don't want to be like me. When I started off, I got thrown in, man. I was thrown in. My first cybersecurity job was like incident management. I had no idea that was even a thing. I just knew I wanted to get into cybersecurity. It sounded cool. And then when I got into cybersecurity, man, I was like, wow, there's so many fields here. There's cyber incident management, there's a SOC analyst, there's incident response, there's data loss prevention, there's governance, there's forensics, there's vulnerability, there's strategic threat intel, there's threat intel, there's so many fields. And I'm just like, wow, this is crazy. I wish I had known this sooner. I never had a coach, never had mentors. I had a few college professors that helped me along the way, but I didn't know it went that deep. So when you're starting your career out in IT, you have to understand, what category of IT do you want to be in? You want to be a developer? Do you want to work in information security? Do you want to work as a desktop support person? Do you want to work as a network engineer? Find a category, stick to it, and build your career and your certifications and your education and your career planning around that category. Because based on the category that you choose, it's going to be a different path, a different journey. And you don't want to start in one category, waste 3 years, and be like, well, I never wanted this because I didn't even know this existed. Don't be like me. You want to start off knowing exactly what category you want to fall into. You want to know if it's a technical or if it's non-technical. You want to know what certifications to take for this category. You want to know who to talk to for this category, what coachings, what mentorship, what websites you need to be on for this category. Knowing the category of IT you want to fall into, and the subcategory of ITs, and the certifications and the educations around that, and the experience needed around that, it gives you a quicker start in your career to have a clear path as to where you want to go and what you want to do, right? So that's number 2. It's what's your why, technical or non-technical, understanding the various areas. So we touched on those 3 things, right, that are very important. And you take a screenshot of this because this is super important, right? So now you found your why, you found your technical or non-technical category, you found your different areas, right? The different areas that you can work in, and then each area has an entry level point. We talk about that. What's the entry level point for a SOC analyst? Okay, SOC analyst tier 1 or junior SOC analyst. That's an entry level point for a SOC analyst, or for an incident response personnel. You typically start off as a SOC analyst, right? So you want to be an analyst, you want to be in a technical role. Okay, that's your starting point. All right, cool. All right, what's the starting point for someone who want to be in forensics? What's the starting point for someone who want to be in threat intel, right? And understand that each of these areas, they have a starting point and they can go way up. So you can start off as an entry-level SOC and then become like a tier 3 SOC or tier 2 senior incident response analyst, right? Or you can start off at entry-level research threat intel, where you're just part of the threat intel that just gathers research from various applications and information on the internet, and you gather that research and that information and you compile it and you pass it on to the senior threat intel team, and then they actually aggregate and take that data and work with the incident response team and the countermeasures and the vulnerability team in order to use that threat intel data to put it into monitoring systems in order to create, advanced alerts and triggers and stuff like that to detect threats as they come into the organization, right? So find the entry level point and find the senior level point of all the different careers that you're looking into, and start mapping it out and have a journal and say, all right, I want to start here. This is the entry level point. These are the certifications that I need to take, and this is where I'm going to end up within 5 years, right? So we talk about that. So we found their why, technical or non-technical areas, understanding the various areas of the departments that you're going to work in, understanding the entry level point and the senior level points. And of course, all of that will determine what certs and education you need. So these are things that I didn't know. I never looked at the bigger picture of tech. I just knew I liked computers and tech, and I liked technology, but I never understood like there's desktop support is different from network engineering, different from development, different from cybersecurity. They're also vastly different, and whichever career that you choose to go in is going to determine what certifications to take. You never want to just go take random certifications that you will probably never use in your career. I've been in that position where I have certifications that I have now, and I was like, bro, like if I knew earlier that I never needed the cert, I wouldn't have even taken it, because it's literally worthless on my resume, because the career path that I've chosen, this cert has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with this career path. And I wasted my time, right? So I don't want you to waste your time. So I hope this video is giving you a lot of clarity around how to, select your career path. I'm going to be putting together PDFs that I'll attach to these videos to help you to look at different career paths in IT. I'm going to have like a list of them. There's so many out there. I'm not going to be able to add them all, but I'll put a list of career paths in IT, and I'll put like certifications together. Like these are the list of certifications based on these different career paths and stuff. I'll try to put something together that makes sense, like that can help you out a bit, right? So that you can have a little bit more clarity. So I hope you enjoy this video. Click like, share, subscribe, click the bell icon to get alerts. And if you have any comments or any questions for me, go ahead, drop it in the comments or shoot me an email. And again, I do career coaching. I do resume review, portfolio reviews. I do interview preps and all of that stuff. So if you're interested in anything like that, please reach out to me and let me know. Stay safe, continue to build, continue to love each other. Let's go ahead and build empires and build careers and take care of ourselves and our loved ones, right? See you in the next video.